Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Pluto?
Tubi?
I don't know. I love Christmas Karen. That's what it is.
I'm Dan, and I despise Christmas Karen.
I'm Alonso, and I'd like to speak to the manager, and this
is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
It was one of Alonso's more on the nose intros, but it was too good not to do.
You
can't not do
it
that.
was just sitting
do
there.
that.
Yeah, you had to do that.
That's right.
Hello, everybody. This is a good week. We finally made our way over to Pluto. This is our final non-scary.
And this does have a witch in it, like a ghost witch.
That's
zombie,
true. That's true. It was a nice little segue into October.
Always a ghost story, the Christmas Carol adaptation.
And as we head into October, I don't, you don't have to watch these movies with us, listener. You don't have to watch the scariest, but I think we have some fun ones. Alonso, do you have a favorite Christmas horror combo?
There's a few. I mean, I like the first and third version of Black Christmas. There was one a couple years ago called Better Watch Out, starring Levi Miller from Pan, which we talked about last week, that I liked a lot. That was really kind of a cool kind of Home Alone spin that was very creepy and effective. Those are the ones that leap to mind. But the thing about, again, A Christmas Carol has always been a ghost story, and
right.
There has been, they used to say that Christmas night was the night when the veil between the two worlds was at its thinnest. Okay. And that was why the ghost would show up and that sort of thing. So, there's always been a touch of horror as part of the history of Christmas.
That snuff film we watched on Shudder was a horror movie, correct?
That was a tough watch, yes.
If I'm not
mistaken. Now, I will say this. We were doing three of them. One is called He Knows, which was, as I looked up Christmas horror movies that came out in 2022, this was the highest rated of those.
Oh.
Okay. And then The Mean One, which made it to theaters for a limited run, so we will do that. And then Violent Night, which is not really horror, but that's going to be a lot of fun. And that's how we'll close out our 2022 look back on Monday. It's been
Then join us for the kickoff after the preview episodes for the new season, and then we'll look back again next year.
I would love to.
A preview episode for these. Just don't tease me with a good time.
Can we after Violent Night? Can we do a rating? Can we rank the Monday movies?
Ooh, boy, I would love to rank them. I love ranking anything with Alonso because of how ardently he feels about lists.
This I would.
Yeah, but this has been, you get.
This is Christmas is number one. I'll fight you. Okay. It's just the best.
Unicorn for Christmas, but whatever. You get with our standard holiday season, we'll do Hallmark and Netflix and Lifetime, and those are all kind of, it's a pretty narrow swing. These were all over the map.
Wow,
all over the map.
Sure.
From some of the best we've ever seen to some of the worst. And so I think it'd be really fun to rank those. So write that down, Aaron. We'll try to fit that in before the holiday season starts somehow. Because we've
got the time.
We've got the time. Alonso, I guess we can announce that you're coming to the marathon again this year.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Are you excited about going back to it being an all-night situation?
Well, that's going to be a first for me because the times that I've been to there with you guys was
6 a.m.
It was a 6 a.m. deal. Yeah. But as long as I've got some naps scattered throughout, I think I can make this work.
That's what I'm talking about. You're going to probably get one break of 4 hours. I'm just letting you know. I mean, I guess we could try to give you like 2-hour breaks.
I mean, I am the senior citizen here, so it's the least you could do, frankly. But maybe the adrenaline of the whole thing and the live audience will really just get me all primed and ready to go.
We're gonna have a couple dozen people,
scattering of people
there to help us eat all the food and hang out. Maybe bring them up on stage and ask them some questions. Yes. You never know. That's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time. I'm excited about it.
And we're going to have more than, I think we got some other hosts that are coming.
We're going to have a bevy of hosts.
Which is very fun.
It's
going to be a lot of fun. That's
happening
on the 20th, and you'll be able to watch it live, of course, on the Internet Machine. It's going to be so much fun. I think the plan is to start at like 7:30 Eastern, 30 minutes before the first new movie, so we can do some light banter ahead of time. So we don't go straight to like paying attention,
And go until 11 the next night. Can you believe it? Yeah, I know. Life's good, man.
Y'all and your ideas.
It was an idea we had at the time.
Yes.
It was an idea.
It was
an idea we had.
We'll see how it goes.
Speaking of ideas, let's talk about Christmas Karen. Christmas Karen, it wasn't made for Pluto, but it did, I think, land there first, from best I can figure.
First to land on Pluto.
First to land on Pluto.
I watched it ad-free on Canopy.
Well, there you go.
Little,
all right.
Yeah.
Christmas Karen, November 18th, 2022 is when it premiered. It went a little something like this. We're in Florida. Is it Celebration, Florida? Is that where the movie takes place? A place that does exist in real life. I knew of it when I lived there. And this sweet little girl has a hot chocolate stand and is singing Christmas songs. She's adorable. This woman comes up, asks her for her permit to be selling stuff on the streets. This little girl's like, what? She then calls the cops, and then as the family goes inside, she takes some hot chocolate for herself. Her name is Karen. She's being a Karen. It's Christmas Karen. And Karen is being a real Karen who is the type of person who sends her coffee back, even though it's probably correct. She refuses to pay $666 because she's a God-fearing Christian. She hits a kid with her car and is mad that the kid scratched her Hummer. So she's great. She's a real swell person. It is Christmas Eve, and she yells at a cashier about her coupon, and she wants to speak with a manager naturally. And we keep seeing for a couple times a woman who has a sign that's like the end is coming, the end is near type of situation, but we can't see her face. Karen then gets a knock at the door, and it is the woman with the sign, and she's a witch, like a witch. She's who I would imagine a witch to be, with a cauldron and whatnot.
She's a freaky ghost.
She's a freaky ghost, yes. And she shuts the door on her. She then comes out of the oven. And one of the scarier scenes I've seen this year, just in film in general. The woman, turns out, is her old friend Jackie, who is now a ghost. We get a flashback showing that Jackie was a lot like Karen and died having a heart attack while eating bacon-wrapped tater tots, which I would have. Jackie does the whole Christmas Carol ghost bit, explaining that she's going to be, greeted by 3 ghosts over the night and all that good stuff. Karen is like, whatever, and she goes to sleep. She wakes up from the first ghost. It's the ghost of Christmas past, and everything is a lot for Karen. She doesn't really know how to handle all this. The ghost shows her that her mom wasn't great. Shows her that she has never really accepted her brother for being gay, and how she stopped being fun and became a real Karen after being inspired by her boss, seeing her boss kind of be a quote-unquote Karen. She's like, this is the life for me. The ghost really doesn't like Karen and brings her back and to finish out the night. The ghost of present comes and shows her some things, such as the fact that the hot chocolate girl has cancer and is dying and was trying to help her parents out with money. Karen also seeing her brother being very hurt by the way that Karen has treated him, and Karen realizes that she has she's trying to shut down an amazing Christmas light display, and she's like, wow, this is really nice. So she realizes that her actions have an effect on people around her, whether or not she knows it. And of course, next up is Future, and you would be shocked to find out that one, the little girl passes away, but also Karen passes away, and no one cares. No one cares about Karen. So Karen learns the lesson that you tend to learn in A Christmas Carol, that you should be nice to people and keep Christmas in your heart and all that good stuff. And so she goes and she decides she's going to live life to the fullest. She's going to make up with her brother. She pays off medical bills for the neighbor and gives the girl the most magical Christmas of her life. And Karen, I'm sure, goes on to live a perfectly happy life and never reverting back to her Karen ways. And that, my friends, was Christmas Karen.
We
did do it. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll break this movie down with 4 segments here on Deck the Hallmark. Welcome back, everybody. It's a Monday, which means we've gone back to 2022 to check out some Christmas movies that we missed, including A Christmas Karen. Let's break it down with 4 segments. We'll start with the hot take. It is where we share exactly how we felt about this movie. We do not hold back, just like A Karen. And I'll start with you, Alonso. Alonso, what'd you think of A Christmas Karen?
Well, I'd say one of the more interesting developments of the last couple of decades has been the Christmas Carol remakes about women. I think it started with Ebby, which was a movie with Susan Lucci. It was made for TV back in the 90s, and we've had Ms. Scrooge with Cicely Tyson, A Diva's Christmas Carol with Vanessa Williams, A Carol Christmas with Tori Spelling, It's Christmas Carol, which was a Hallmark one, and I don't remember who the lady Scrooge in that one was. So I'm kind of down for this as an adjunct to the original Dickens.
Did you know this was A Christmas Carol playoff when you started it?
Yeah, I mean, the title kind of gives it away.
I actually didn't know it.
I thought it was just
true story.
It's a Karen at Christmas time.
Oh, funny. No. Yeah, I did know.
Caught on quickly after that, though.
Yeah, you figured it out pretty quickly.
Yeah, they pretty much let you know what you're in for. I have to say, I liked the script of this. I think this is a fun idea. I think they find interesting ways to do it. And there are some fun performances in here. If ever a movie we have seen suffers from being low budget, it's this one. Like, it is so on the cheap at times and so kind of flatly filmed and sort of, it just like it has no visual pizzazz, and the settings are all a little drab. And I mean, it's very Florida. It's very suburban Florida, the way that it's kind of laid out, but like not in a way that really pops, even though they have, like, I looked it up, the lights that they talk about in this thing is a real thing that the real Celebration Florida does, and the movie doesn't like get enough production value even out of that, which could be staggering, I think. So I like the idea behind this, and I like the effort put into certain aspects of this, but I also feel like it really suffers from being just real cheap.
I would agree with all that. I was really impressed with quite a few of the performances. I thought Karen did a good job. I thought the Ghost of Christmas Past was fantastic. The budget stuff, it's clearly not at the level that we're used to. It's most of the stuff that we cover. But with what they had, I thought it was pretty solid. Really, heavy-handed with its messaging, but luckily the messaging is good. So it's like, okay, great. But there's no, what this movie is telling you. They make it very clear. I thought I really thought, I was surprised at how good some of because sometimes with the lower budget stuff, you can tell not just with the design, but also the acting. But I thought the acting was really quality in most of this movie. So overall, pleasantly surprised by A Christmas Karen. Pretty funny at times, and overall just impressed by what they did end up doing with the money that they had.
It's a real subtle movie, Brand. I couldn't really tell what they were going for a lot of it.
Like most Christmas Carol adaptations.
Yes.
I will say, like, I appreciated this take on A Christmas Carol. And I appreciated a lot of the dialogue, as you two have already said. There are some legitimately funny parts. And for me, whether or not A Christmas Carol adaptation works hinges on what happens when the Scrooge wakes up, if I care about them fixing things or not. And weirdly enough, I did care about Karen going and doing right by her neighbors and her brother and this grocery store and these people. And so by that measure, it does succeed. Now, does it take its time getting there? And are the effects just awful? Does it swing sometimes and miss big? Yeah, it does. It feels like it was made over the course of a few days and for not a lot of money. But the script pops when it hits. It does hit. So there are definitely worse movies. There are definitely worse Christmas Carol adaptations out there.
Yeah.
So by those two very low bars, it does succeed, but not an all-out home run for me. Just fine. Just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time for all the feels. We're talking about the feels that we got. Alonso.
Well, if you're going to make a movie about a Karen, it really should start with her calling the cops on a black child who's not doing anything. So kudos for that. I like the full scope of her awfulness in terms of not just her sense of entitlement, but like her we speak English and her homophobia, like all that stuff. I think they don't soft pedal any of that. When she and the ghosts of Christmas past are in her childhood home and they wind up back in the present and the guy starts shooting at them, I just immediately wrote down Florida Man.
Yeah.
And I did not expect an impromptu grocery store dance number to erupt at the end of the film, and I was pleased to see that.
That makes one of us.
I mean, was it as kind of half-assed and cheap as the rest of the movie? Yes, but I at least admired the effort.
That's the best term for this, unfortunately, is half-assed, because it is a movie that the script is pretty whip smart, and then it's like, we got it, let's make this movie now.
The execution.
Yeah, let's make it right now, and let's not let anything else stand in our way. So there's that.
Alonso, you did mention the lights, the light display in this movie is based off a real thing that I didn't know about as somebody who grew up in Florida. I had never heard about this. The lights at Jeter Bend, and you did send me a nice thing. They have their own Facebook page apparently, because that's how you know whether or not a Christmas light display is a big deal or not, if they have their own Facebook group. Next time in Florida, which I hope I'm not, I will check this out if I am there during the holiday season, which honestly I can't imagine me ever being again now that my parents live up there.
Your kids
but
to Disney though, sooner or later, and you.
But at Christmas time,
why not do it then when it's not as crowded?
It's the busiest time of the year.
Busier than summer.
Our
for
busiest
you
time
guys,
of
it's
the
the busiest time.
Yeah,
of the year.
take them like December 28th.
All right. Okay, fine.
There you go.
Maybe I will.
Maybe I will. Everybody wins there.
Everybody wins. Yeah. Everybody wants them.
I think every good Christmas Carol adaptation reckons with the fact that if you're a person of privilege, you have the luxury of only caring about how you think what you said and did came off and your personal intent. And I thought this movie did a good job of making her reckon with the fact that regardless of what she thinks she meant, her impact was super duper negative and racist and homophobic and misogynistic and whatever else, like all of these things that she doesn't have to reckon with because she just was in her own world and she was capable of doing that. And so they don't all work well, but I think there are some moments, and I don't know the woman's name that plays Karen, and I probably should have looked that up before we started this, but there are some legit great moments in here when she sees how the healthcare system has failed. It's like all of these things are like Karen's fault, except this one, which is, she stopped him from raising money, but why does a family have to go bankrupt to provide money for their child's leukemia drugs? That's not on Karen.
Indeed.
Per se.
Michelle Sims is the actress's name.
Michelle Sims. And I think she does a great job starting to realize that her impact was so bad even when she believed her intent to be good.
Very nicely said, Dano.
Thank you.
But you are anti-healthcare,
of course.
Got it.
Yeah. Everybody, we're gonna pay for your own. If you're poor and get diagnosed with something, there's nothing you can do. I'm sorry. That's just.
I did just want to set the record straight because I didn't want anybody to misunderstand.
That and the troops. The troops should be on their own. And I want to be clear.
Get out of here. Let's take a quick break. Yeah. If you don't explicitly say it,
the troops should also get 100% healthcare free. I want to be clear about that before everyone that comes home Should be.
Yeah.
Oh, troops.
All
Yes,
of that.
thank you.
Yeah.
We have a sign in the office that says troops ? Just to remind us
sure.
to say
Yeah,
it.
of course.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to get to the wait what's and the what is Pluto? Is Pluto real?
Planets here.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. We're talking about A Christmas Karen from 2022. It's time for the Wait What. It's where we share our Wait What's, things that made us say Wait What, as a matter of fact. Alonso, anything from you?
I don't really know that I have
It's
one,
tough.
just because I think Christmas Carol adaptations follow that path. And so you see like the thing that actually happened, the thing that happened that they didn't know about, the things that might happen in the future. And they're all kind of, I mean, they're consistent. They get it right as far as covering that. So I don't really have any wait what's, I don't think.
I have my biggest one is this. I don't care if it's a couple days before Christmas. You're not drinking hot chocolate outside in Florida. You're just not. And if you want to raise money, that's not what you sell. No one's walking around being like, yeah, that's what I want right now in Florida. Never once did I think that while I was walking outside. You like drink chocolate milk and try to like
frozen hot chocolate.
Frozen hot chocolate.
I found out was a thing.
You would absolutely do that. But a hot chocolate, I don't care if it's Christmas Eve. You just
Also,
wouldn't
you don't want her to raise money for her own treatment.
100%. That is, she's on her own. She's on her own there. Dana?
Yeah.
Bootstraps.
Yeah, but that's exactly right. So they take her, the Ghost of Christmas Past takes her back in time to when she worked at this bar. And
The Fizzy Pig.
yeah, the Fizzy Pig because of Fezziwig. Yes, of course. They're doing the Lord's work there. And
Again, subtle.
They announce at this bar, the manager gets on the mic and he says, all right, it's 7 p.m. That means that the management tends the bar and all the employees get to go have fun. What? All the as far as I know, a bar starts to get busy in the evening, right? So at the time when things get busiest, the management is cutting the employees loose to go and do whatever they would like to do and drink for the rest of the evening. Am I to understand that correctly?
Yeah, it's basically the employee Christmas party like Fezziwig would throw, but at a bar that is also open to whoever the patrons are on Christmas Eve, I guess.
Yeah, and she says the working there was awesome, and I want to be clear, this is a place where they make two bartenders dance on a bar to see which one gets a Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
So they make two women dance on a bar, and whichever one gets the most tips then gets a Christmas bonus of cash. The other one gets nothing. So her best place of business was Christmas bonus, maybe if I'm a good dancer. So
it's the Coyote Ugly way, Dave.
That's right. It is clearly the Coyote.
Bad for her. She's not a good dancer.
I hate to get in the weeds here, but the little one, Nia, is Nia the girl's
Nia,
name?
Sounds right.
She writes a letter to Santa and asks Santa to talk to God about her health. What is happening?
I feel like you cut out the middleman there.
Yeah, you can't go straight to the big man? Are you in some sort of weird Santa Catholicism here where you're offering up your prayers to the Saint of Claus, who then offers them up to the hierarchy here has gotten downright confusing, is all I'm saying.
It's all in who you know.
That's right. That's right. Clearly, she felt as though she had a direct pipeline to Santa, but felt disconnected from God, and asked Santa if you could just pass that up the ladder
To your bro.
And yeah, that's right.
Santa is the
I
Holy
appreciate
Spirit.
them as
If you guys run into each other in the break room, maybe you could mention.
I appreciate the insinuation that in this hierarchy, Santa is somewhere in between humanity and God. Like, it's a nice middle ground where, like, yes, sees you when you're sleeping, knows when you're awake, gets all the toys out in an evening, but not fully omnipotent and omniscient in a way that would be terrifying or comforting. And so right in the middle there is where Santa resides, and probably should, if you believe in that sort of thing.
When we say take it up with the big man, we do mean Santa.
Jesus Santa. Yes, that's right. And it couldn't have taken any longer for one dude to open up one bottle of champagne. For the life of me, the wrapper is off of it. It is just about getting the cork popped. That's all it is. And we go over to this joker 6 times, and he still doesn't have the champagne open. And as they go back over to Karen talking to her brother, having a heartfelt conversation, all I can think in my head is, how is this bottle of champagne not open yet? It is, at this rate, no one's ever going to drink anything. It's unbelievable how this is edited. And I feel bad for the dude because he probably opened it on the first try, and the way they edit it make it look like it's taking him 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So
these are people who put vodka in a mojito, so they do not understand how alcohol works.
At all.
I'm just going to go with that, I think.
That's right.
More than fair. It's time for the
Father, Son, and the Popo Gijo.
I don't really get how it applies to the segment, but I like it. I like it a lot. That's where we wonder what could have been. Maybe having some clarity questions we'll have.
Even Alonso's not Catholic anymore. He even wasn't okay.
Even he was like, "That's a little."
Like, I don't know.
It's Topo Gigio, but I didn't want to get into this conversation.
I was referencing the Santa Claus. Thank you very much.
I know.
Is that Topo Gigio?
It's Topo
But
Gigio.
Popo Gijo sounds like the Pope a little bit, and that's why it was.
Popo Gijo.
Yeah.
I would like a little Pope puppet. That would be great.
Popo Gijo. We can make that happen.
DuckToHomework.com/shop. It's going to be a limited time drop to Pope Puppet. No one will be mad. Alonso?
I mean, I guess maybe technically this is a wait what, but the one sort of unclosed loop here, you know, she mends fences with the brother. She's generous to Nia and her family and donates to the homeless mother's shelter. They never address that she's trying to shut down the light show.
Yeah, the light show's still screwed.
She never goes back and fixes that one. So that was my one sort of, oh wait, you forgot one. So I'm hoping that also got tended to.
No, the light show.
But the fact they still have a Facebook page clearly means
that,
like
the movie. I wonder
out.
if they were watching this movie just going like, wait, why'd you have to call us out like that? Hey, that's us. We did that. So like in the Christmas Carol, like Scrooge is like this shrewd banker and a man of money and all that stuff. Karen lives on her own in a house, but like I don't know what she does. Like what is she?
Does she own the salon?
I don't like
they
don't update us after where we see her working there for like
I think they mentioned that she
does she still own it? Okay,
so.
Cool. Well then great. I'm done.
Good. That's a good one.
How's the light
Jackie
show
Bobby
doing?
was dead. This much was for sure.
Yes.
Mine is the grocery store she goes to, which she goes to on Christmas because she believes it'll be open because it's not run by white people, although most of the workers there are white. But the weird part about that is she goes to the grocery store before then. So she goes to the grocery store 2 days before Christmas, and she shops at that grocery store. And my question is why that character and what we know about her would shop at that grocery store to begin with. It would seem a contradictory to her.
Maybe the only reason
nature.
she went there is because she found that coupon. That's 10 years old.
It's 4 years old or whatever.
No, I think the idea is I have to go here because all the other grocery stores are closed for the holiday.
That was the second time she does that. She's like, where can I find this?
Well, but Christmas Eve is where the movie opens, so I think that was also the idea then. But again, it's Florida. You can't tell me there's not a Publix within 5 minutes.
100%.
That is wide open on the 24th and 25th.
Yeah, the Publix is around here don't open on Christmas Day, but on Christmas Eve. And in Florida, they're every quarter mile.
There's
so many Publixes. It's so many
Publixes. We did it, everybody. Congratulations. We're going to be back next week. It will be October, which is
wild.
Spooky, scary.
Wild. And we'll start off with He Knows is the name of the movie. He Knows. And yeah, you can still find it places. So there you go. That's always good. Until next time, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. What? For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.